If we want to know what something means, we usually go to the dictionary for a definition. Definitions are supposed to set boundaries and clarify the nature of the concept in question. But what about definitions of religion? What is religion? Scholar Catherine Albanese states that everyone knows what religion is. That is, until someone tries to define it. It is in the act of defining that religion seems to slip away. Given that most of the world's people identify with a religion, 8 out of 10 according to the Pew Research Center, and that in the United States it is the government that grants groups the status of religion, it seems imperative that we think about how to assess different definitions of religion. As you saw in the readings, the number of definitions for religion are as numerous as the number of religion textbooks available or people willing to tell you what they think. The sheer number of definitions and their numerous differences can easily overwhelm. As a result, we need to identify questions to ask and criteria to look for when we encounter definitions of religion. Let's talk through some examples to identify these questions and criteria. For example, we may have thought about a definition of religion as belief in God. This definition certainly captures a component of some religions, but it leaves out a lot. It leaves out the idea of religious practices, such as pilgrimage or worship. It also doesn't provide any sense of why some people would believe in God. Lastly, it excludes some religions that do not have a God and others that focus on spirits. So one question to ask about the definitions of religion you encounter is, how inclusive or broad is this definition? A definition that is too narrow is not analytically useful. However, if we define religion as people's ultimate concern, we encounter a different but related problem. Each of us will likely have a different definition of ultimate concern. As a result, anything could be classified as a religion, such as someone's gambling addiction or their love of Beyoncé. So our definition of religion must be inclusive, but not so inclusive that everything fits. If everything fits, then the concept of religion becomes meaningless. This definition's use of the term ultimate concern also demonstrates that we need to look for definitions that use precise language, terms that do not necessitate further definition, discussion, and debate. Jesse Ventura, a former professional wrestler and the former governor of Minnesota, once defined religion as a sham and a crutch for weak-minded people who need strength in numbers. Ventura's definition raises another important criterion for us to address: bias. As scholars, we want a definition of religion as free from bias as possible. In evaluating definitions of religion, we often encounter value bias, which means that these definitions reflect how the people creating them value religion. If their attitude is positive, then their definition of religion is typically positive. If their attitude is negative, then their definition is negative. So we need to be aware of value bias, and we should also reflect on our own assumptions about the value of religion. In evaluating definitions of religion, we should also be on the lookout for what religion scholars call reductionism. This means reducing religion to something else in order to understand it. In reductionist thinking, religion becomes just or really something else in disguise. You'll recall the definitions of religion by Freud and Marx that you read for today. These definitions emphasize how religion is related to psychology and economics, but they are essentially reductive in that they seek to reduce religion to either psychological processes or socioeconomic factors. By doing so, they ignore what religion means to those who practice it and the ways religion is about more than psychology and money. As you can see, defining religion is not an easy or clear-cut process. Some definitions are too broad, others are too narrow. Some overly biased, others overly vague. We need to keep each of these criteria and all of these questions in mind as we assess each definition of religion that we encounter. Further, as your textbook states on page 3, rather than using only one definition of religion, we should hold a group of definitions loosely so we can examine the diversity and complexity of different religions, because how you define religion will directly influence how you study it.